That's enough of that. Okay, finally here. Took a while to get things set up. Had to take a walk, stretch the legs after Stream at 11 with Pat Dixon. Didn't really catch didn't catch the debate. As soon as I stumbled out there. And that's closing arguments for tonight, So a bit of the wrap up, but I mean, I've already made up my mind a long time ago, so yeah, we know where that's going to go. So anyway, once again, decided on the toe. You see, we'll draw the big toe, and if you familiar with the Seinfeld show, as I think it was George Costanza explained it, the big toe is the toe captain. Giggle tee hee, no, gonna draw Aaron Imholt, who, without his idiot choices in life, would not even be a blip on the radar. But idiot choices do abound. And, well, here he is. All a part of our lives. Oh, man. Did I forget the... Yeah, I did. Hang on a second. Oh, gotta go wheel all the way over here. Wait, far away. Wait. Now back. And got the eraser. Yeah, there's an eraser on the end of the pencil, but it's really small. And I don't want to waste it. Here we go. So almost always just see him with headphones, so we'll put the headphones in there. Because that's how we have come to know the big winner, the man who can never lose. I mean, at least, his toe never loses. The toe show. The toe show never loses. So he's going off on a tangent, trying to make the case that Patrick Melton is one of those people. He must be capable of that heinous crime. And just on the optics of an argument or what have you, of say you're the father of a daughter and someone saying this type of crap about him, I could certainly understand anger, regardless of you say, yeah, I was just joking. Yeah, well, not going to take kindly to that, and that sort of thing would be rather solid. To extrapolate from it further, and also not really making much of a defense or a gripe, or any kind of outrage over your child in particular. That was not the focus. That's one of those telltale things to look for when someone's making claims and all this sort of thing. And, whoa, we're really going to get into it now, and it never really does. So that's the situation that was discussed. So I wasn't sure I'd be able to do a stream tonight, and I'm pretty sure things, well, probably because the forecast of the storm, because that was the deal. The hurricane formed in the Gulf. It's a rather weak one, but still could do a lot of damage and all that, and more than likely will. But it's looking pretty bad for eastern Louisiana and maybe even Mississippi. In fact, I'm pretty sure Mississippi is going to, oh crap, because the models changed rather rapidly from where uh, it was going. So it made quite the move eastward, and that's away from where I am. What is making that noise? Huh. I don't know what that is. Anyway, so that's the deal there. So, and how far it moved away, it's not even really the winds would, I mean, it'll be windy and everything, and there'll be some rain and all that, but to the point I may not even have a power outage. So if that's the case, then, well, all right then. Then I will be doing the, I assume, we'll do the Doomcock show, which is usually every Wednesday. And what do we probably talk about Disney and the New York Times takedown of Bob Iger. Somebody spilled some beans on the behind the scenes stuff going over at Disney. So I imagine that'll get discussed. Oh, the Rings of Power. God, that's, jeez. Yeah, probably talk about that. I did see the first 3 episodes because, I figured we'd talk about it. And turns out we did, but I think me and one other guy was the only ones who watched it. I think Doomcock himself only watched the first episode. The For the first 3, for the most part, it's still kind of a dumb show. But there was the main one of the main problems with it was they just basically ruined the character of Galadriel, and they're trying to make her like, I don't know, I guess like Xena, or more to the point of just making her do typical of what a male character would do, and so that was obviously the approach, taking away from what the character really was and how depicted, certainly in the films. Uh, I believe it was mentioned in the books that she did fight in some of the wars that they had against Sauron and all that, I think. But nothing. It was so over the top. They would have scenes where she got all suited up in armor and stuff, and she was. They were getting ready to go out and face the enemy and all this sort of thing. And then she shows up, and everyone is just so taken and in awe of, not because they think she's beautiful or anything. They're just like, "Wow, Superman just showed up," and it was that kind of thing of this worshipfulness. And it was like, "All right, already." And then it just didn't have a whole lot to it. And all they were really pushing was, of course, they race. Oh wait, I forgot about the other characters I got to draw here. Race swaps and gender swaps and all that sort of thing. Or I don't think they did any actual gender swaps. I mean, they made Galadriel a more masculine character. But yeah, I don't think they did that. So, but they were just, I mean, I guess with the Harfoots, they basically did a female version of Frodo and Sam and that sort of thing. I mean, they didn't make Sauron a woman, although technically speaking, they could because of his ability to shape change and all that stuff. But a lot of it was the approach was sort of almost like a CW teen soap opera show where the Galadriel's attracted to the bad boy, and that's the deal with Sauron. So they get that going on because that's all they know how to do, and it was really stupid. And they would do these moments where they're saying something they think is really profound and wise, like the scene with her brother telling her, Uh, why does uh, what was it? Why does a stone float? But I mean, no. Why does a boat float but a stone doesn't, or something stupid like that? And this was supposed to be some profound observation on his part. Um, things like that. And it's the thing about they did race swap the dwarves and stuff like that. And one of the queens supposed to be a big deal. All that. And when you do that, it's the it's blatant and obvious, and it takes away from the whole point and everything. When you could have done a more believable character, but the thing is, it's already established lore for decades, and to rewrite it or what have you is pointless. But when you consider the amount of money they spent on that, it was $1 billion just to have the rights to put the title Lord of the Rings on your show. Uh, when you wanted it to be Game of Thrones, um, they're both based on medieval fantasy templates, but they're very, very different from one another. One of the things that they found out about was they almost had a Conan the Barbarian series, and I think one of the guys that's doing House of the Dragon was involved in that. And well, it was too toxic and masculine and whatnot, so they had to get rid of that. So they did Wheel of Time and they feminized that and made it all about representation and stuff. And then, of course, Lord of the Rings, which is more just stupid uh, than political messaging, I would think. Although it's interesting, they had Sauron in this season mention what he's trying to do, which he wants to unite everything under one rule, that would bring order and for his pursuit of power instead of everybody doing their own thing. Which, boy, that reminds me of a certain political bent. um, but I'm sure they are incapable of seeing it that way. But so I watched the first three, and one of the things was Galadriel was not shown off in those as this great wonder. In fact, she was kind of called on the carpet because it's like she brought the enemy right in and unwittingly facilitated his plot to get those rings made and stuff like that. So the king is like very disappointed in her and all that. And Elrond, of course, Elrond's warning about the rings. And apparently they're saying that that Sauron didn't forge the rings in the actual story. That he would, I thought he had manipulated them into it, but he made his own. The Ring of Power is one he definitely made, but he did that, uh, unbeknownst to them, and then that caused the problem. But uh, so after rebuking her for being foolish and to not realizing this guy was Sauron, uh, they then take the rings and put them on. So, in this story, because he clearly manipulated what's his name into making the rings. So, yeah, this is a terrible April. Doesn't look anything like her. Nick doesn't look like Nick, but I guess Steel Toe is going to work. So, this is the faces of the people whom he obsesses over. I can never remember where she parts her hair, if it's on this side or. There we go. So they're inconsistent within the continuity that they establish themselves, regardless of how far they've gone from, the actual lore and whatnot. And as far as I understand, they don't really have actual rights to what is it? The Similarian, which is more like a is I haven't read it, so um, it's kind of like a history book of of this fantasy story that Tolkien crafted. But as I understand, the deal is they can use the characters and some elements of the story, which of course, the development of the rings and all that, and the war it led to. Um, but that's about it. Which in the hands of these people at the Amazon, especially the guys who took it over, don't really have the experience for being showrunners and stuff like that, but they were just connected. Uh, and in that respect, it's worse than Benioff and Weiss. The Benioff and Weiss deal, they fell from grace when they ran out of George R. Martin's material for Game of Thrones. They didn't really know what to do. Supposedly, they had this meeting with him, and he told them what the ultimate plot points were for where the story would go when he would supposedly finish the books. It now appears pretty obvious he never will. But nevertheless, they had this hit show and stuff. Meanwhile, they wanted to jump ship to Star Wars, and but then they pooped the bed due to lack of material and not knowing what to do with the remainder of Game of Thrones. Now, the plot points in and of themselves, I could see them working if you gave it the necessary time, which they didn't. They wanted to hurry up and get out, as if no one would notice that you really weren't all that. Um, but the thing of it is, had they had the material still, if there was, the books had been finished, they might have done all right. In the case of Lord of the Rings, they're just sort of using ideas of the story rather than a direct adaptation. Because otherwise they would just do the Lord of the Rings story again that the movies did. Which I would have thought the best approach to do that would have been to flesh out the story more, where you had the material that the movies couldn't cover, but now you have more time with the series. You could do that. That's not what they did, and they probably couldn't. Warner Brothers has the rights to films of that material, so it might be something of that nature. They couldn't have done just another adaptation of the full story of Game of Thrones. Lord of the Rings. But whatever. Tom Bombadil is a character they didn't approach in the films. Well, he made his debut in the 4th episode. And it was just like, oh, he's a mysterious man. And guiding the character who's quite clearly Gandalf. But as I understand it, Gandalf was not in the era involved in when, they had the war with Sauron and all that. So unless they're just going to do a surprise, he's some other guy that we just made up and it's not really Gandalf. Doesn't matter. But the thing of it is, the 4th episode gets back to farm where Galadriel does her Xena warrior princess thing and basically damn near single-handedly wipes out a whole battle group of orcs, because, well, she's just that amazing, while the others look in awe and then leave. Well, they had to get away or something like that. And just kind of reminds you of, gee, one of the main reasons why I didn't like this show. It has no audience, and that's that. I really can't draw Patrick Melton at all. I just have to rely on, hey, it's a guy, wears glasses, wears a hat with a little onion cartoon on it, and is like, I don't know, laughing. Yeah, they got in on the thing. I didn't even know about all this Josh Denny stuff. Uh, you know, I was like, they got really mad at each other and all this sort of thing. Don't know the whole story, but Steel Toe is like smoking gun, and well, no, ends up where Josh Denny, I hate Aaron. He is he stinks. Yeah. Okay. I guess so. That's the deal. Um, he obsesses on his ex-wife, on Nick, and Melton. And I guess the thing recently with Melton was he's trying to, well, at least I'm not that guy, as if somehow that forgives all the dumb crap he's done of late. Um, First of all, he hasn't made a case, and it's not really going to work out. And especially, by my observation of his diatribe on it, doesn't seem to really care about what Melton said on his joke. Um, Only seems to be more concerned about its relationship to him and to him only. Wouldn't have been a joke I would make. I don't really care for that. Um, but it doesn't bring that this is a smoking gun on certain bizarre predilections. Um, but the mistake in it was that all of a sudden uh, Aaron's putting images of his daughter and all this stuff and singing karaoke with her and what have you. Um, when he was trying to put the image that he's this, you know, great family man and everything's great and wonderful in the midst of this bizarre little scandal he found himself in. Well, found himself in. I suspect that he was the big tattletale of it. Uh, but nevertheless, that was the deal when it was all of a sudden you're doing something you never did before. And then there were, the documents between him and his first ex-wife, and it seemed like he really saw his kids as a burden of some sort. um, Granted, they were arguing with one another and that kind of thing, but anyway, that was kind of the deal. But once you make the joke about a 10-year-old girl, it's that harsh. Um, it it kind of succeeds in the distraction that the toe was trying to do in the first place. So the attention can go to that, um, and all that. The idea that he it wasn't meant as a joke or something like that. No, he said it at the time, and there was people in the chat that were upset with it and this kind of thing. Uh, as I recall it. And he was addressing it as that. So the idea that it was never that he backtracked or something later and said it was just him kidding around or whatever. So no, that was at the time, and not something you would have had to explain really. I mean, it was kind of obvious, but that's about it. But wouldn't have known anything about this if it wouldn't have been that clip that Pat sent me on the phone. Hey, look at this. And so I looked at it, and it was you know, Aaron bragging about his sexual prowess, and then April saying, "Not really." And my penis is great, or whatever the hell it was. And a lot of people were jumping on it and laughing at him and stuff. And I just assumed, I've talked about this ad nauseum. I assumed it was a bit at the time. But apparently not. He was generally upset with her. And off you go. And then one thing after another, rumors about him and the Ricadas and all that. And I was like, oh, come on. Yeah, that's true too. So it's like, geez. So it's like when everyone's saying, the guy's really gay. It's like, well, until other proof, I don't know what that would be. Probably true. And that's the strange thing about any fascination with the toe, because there's rumors and accusations of plenty to go around, but in his case, they have a nasty habit of coming true. Because I'll give him this, like Melton harps on the allegation that he assaulted April. It was a headbutt and that sort of thing. Yeah, Aaron says it's bullshit and all that. Of course, due to the track record, I would go with something happened. But in this business of accusations and divorces and stuff like that, there's some amount of care you want to take with that. Just because you don't like the guy, it doesn't mean you actually proved anything. But again, odds are something of the nature of a fight happened. Was it, full on? She described that he held her till she couldn't breathe and stuff like that. And that she was telling this to his first ex-wife, forgetting her name, something like that. And of course, with his attacks and how far he's going in an accusation against Melton, because that Melton is just in his head, and he can't come up with the comeback or the put down against somebody who's just better at it than he is. It's just the way it is. Which again, doesn't really care what Melton says about his wife, ex-wife, him. Well, no, he cares about what he says about him. That's it. Not even his kids. None of that. It's obvious by his behavior and his responses to all this. That's that. Now, of course, I have my biases. Uh, God damn, do I love that Super Tips. I love it too much because I spend too much money on it. Jeez. Oh, wait, no one. It's just so cool. And, well, everyone owes that to Melton. And still, on the Melton show, probably the Aaron voice is the most popular. Yeah. But Dan, I tell you, Kevin Brennan's voice is the one to beat. And it's getting on when he's hearing on Pat, where it always had extra, almost like a speech impediment to it. I don't know how it happens that the AI does it that way, and it seems to be increasingly worse. It's like, it's just some clever computer program. How is it doing this? But he's how is that possible? Possible. I don't know. But it happens that way. Jeez. Yeah, I do a shitty Milton. Man. Plus, again, trying to draw like this, man, I'm getting further and further from the mic and trying to hold a certain position. And it's not comfortable. And this is just not Nick Rekieta at all. God. This is terrible. It's funny, like, because I'll jot this stuff at work and doodle and stuff. And, that's pretty good. Oh, well. Guess I can do that where the lens distorts the position of his cheek there. But there he is, alone with his thoughts. How did this happen? Why me? Why? Why me? Oh, jeez. Oh, April apology. This is a terrible April. I've done better Aprils than this. My God. Jeez. Jeez. I feel awful. Well, I guess this doesn't look like her either, but I guess it's a little better. Oops. See, banged the damn microphone. Oh yeah, there was one of the text messages between Denny and Melton. Steel toes. Melton said, "Steel toes, not stale." So another win for the toes. He took the compliment. Well, you don't understand. There's still going to be a fascination with how ridiculous and stupid you are, and these bizarre scandals and ways you find to get yourself in trouble with the law. One thing after another. Now the latest was his revenge porn deal. Damn. Like, well, what else? That really is a bad April. Good Lord, I'm so embarrassed. Well, at least no one's watching me do it. Oh. But I guess the best comeback he could always have against Melton and anyone else is made you look, and that'll be true. Yeah. Yeah, he did. And ultimately, isn't that a win for the toe? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it is. Oh, jeez. Well, I'm not happy with this at all. So anyway, I guess I could put that into the Photoshop. Yes. But let me check the chat. James Caserta, a nocturnal vampire. James Caserta, it would be Jesus, skipped on me. It would be funny if you were a werewolf. No. It's supposedly going to do a werewolf detective story. So I guess stay tuned for that. Nodak123, fingers crossed. A. Thompson ONG? I don't know. Nodak, great pick. Well, thanks. Suzanne, good morning. Good morning, Suzanne. James Caserta, hello. Nodak, good morning. Good morning to you. Suzanne, the worst part of all of this is that the internet is forever. Imagine being those kids and seeing and hearing all of this when they are, that's there's really no stopping that. So, yeah. Suzanne, it's looking great. Well, thank you. Susan Dolan, hail Douglas Nelson at James, saying hail James Caserta, Suzanne Nodak Thompson. Suzanne says, Susan Dolan, hello. Yes, yeah. All right, I'm going to take a little break while I, what is it? A little blurry. And then we'll come back when I have it ready to go in Photoshop. But here's another sad, sick, sometimes sick story from Nelson News. And take care that you are nothing like the people depicted herein. Yeah. All right. Here's Nelson News.
This is a Nelson News Bulletin. Florida woman ends up arrested over cuddle kerfuffle. Hello, I'm Mr. Nelson. Yes, a Florida woman was arrested for domestic battery after attacking her boyfriend because he declined to cuddle with her. Investigators say the cuddle kerfuffle began when Jillian Wiegand, 22, argued with her beau regarding the victim's disinterest in defendant engaging in physical intimacy. The dispute reignited in the couple's Seminole residence after Wiegand continually tried to cuddle with the victim. When the man rebuffed the cuddling, police say Wiegand escalated the dispute into a physical confrontation. Wiegand allegedly grabbed the victim's chest hair, scratched his face, bit him on the forehead, and broke his phone. After being read her rights, Wiegand reportedly admitted that she continued to touch the victim multiple times after being repeatedly told to stop. Wiegand characterized the touching as cuddling. Wiegand was arrested for domestic battery, a misdemeanor, and booked into the county jail. She was released from custody on her own recognizance by a judge who ordered her to have no contact with the victim. And, of course, that would include cuddling. This has been a Nelson News Bulletin.
Shades and scribbles twist the wall. Do the dreams that make us
All right, there we go. I think. I remember the last time one. Well, not last time. I think I did it once. And there was no mic. I think I can be heard. Suzanne, okay. It's looking great. Okay, I got caught up on that. All right. Let's see if I can fix this. Whoops. Right. Oops. Okay. Now. Okay. All right. Well, I didn't do myself any favors. But well, I don't know if I got to bother with that. Just make sure. Mostly everything's attached. Could do the old comic book thing where these will all be pretty much the same color. I will have to set a line here. We'll attach it there. There. Oops. Yeah, that'll work. I don't know why this one's so faded out. You never know with this. Of course, again, didn't scan it. Used camera phone. Still took too long. I mean, I had to play the stupid song again because Nelson News didn't last long enough. Yeah, that was some woman really wanted to cuddle. The husband or boyfriend, I can't remember which, just didn't want to. Well, she was determined. Oh, again, I don't have to do that. Yeah, just gonna do this. So I don't know. She grabbed his chest hair and pulled on it. And of course, you understand the cartoons I did in that are artistic interpretation. I obviously did not witness the events, but I just assumed she suddenly pounced on him while he was trying to sleep. And he's like, "Oh yeah." All right. Let's see where I messed up. Okay. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Looks like I messed up on April's hair. Probably close it off there. I guess. Okay. It looks like that'll work. Oh, I gotta do it there. What was that? What, is my camera going off? Yeah, it is. Well, not on camera at the moment, so it doesn't matter. Come here, you. I don't know why the camera is so sensitive. Okay. Whoops. Yeah, we made a big misstep there. What? Could not use line tip because the attached area is empty here, doesn't it? What are you talking about? It's right there. But it's a shape. It should work. Oh, wait. Did I? Yeah, I left something selected. That's what it is. Yeah, it doesn't matter. All right. I don't know. I guess a blue color. Maybe not. Maybe like a green one. Oops. But yeah, he decided to get drunk to watch the debate. And no telling what someone can pick out of that. I would not advise doing that. Lest you. I mean, eventually he's going to dump everything on the floor anyway, eventually. After denying it. And then, indeed, I did. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely just going to go the comic book route and blue out those faces. And then this old thing where someone wearing glasses, I just decide, hey, the glasses makes their eyes and the parts of their face within the lens black and white. So, it's a lot of work going in through all this and coloring it. There we go. Good enough. Good enough. Good enough. Good enough. Hair by Photoshop really makes your eyes pop. I don't have to color his eyes because, again, they're in the glasses. But it's just as well because I don't know what color eyes he has. Go with that. That'll work. Good enough. Jeez, I really screwed all that up. Whoops. Oh, for God's sakes, it's so frustrating. There we go. There, we'll take care of his dandruff. Groom the lice like a chimpanzee. Yeah, it's that crazy lady with the chimp. I mean, it's amazing that's even allowed, you know? I mean, she's obviously insane. She's a danger to herself and others. And it's the others part that I give a shit about. You must put that animal down. You mean kill the chimp? No, put him in a zoo. Put the other animal down. it's the only humane thing to do. Uh, that's one of those things. You'd best respect nature in every way imaginable. Most animals, well, I mean, you know, the big ones, uh, you know, apes and gorillas and chimps and all that, are far superior to us physically. It's just that stuff in the noggin that made the difference. So that, you know, you could make weapons like, you know, guns. Uh, that really changes the whole playing field, doesn't it? Boy, it sure does. And that's the only way. Left to just your hands and feet and all that, forget it. You lose. And boy, boy, do you in a fight with a chimp. Man, do you lose a lot. At that point, then you probably figure, just kill me already. uh, God, what a nightmare. Okay. So with all the hurricane and everything and just the general, it's amazing I get to see any movies at all these days. Um, but didn't get a chance to see the new Beetlejuice movie. I've only seen the original once. You know, it was a big deal. Lots of people loved it. And it went off to be a pretty popular cartoon series, um, stuff like that. You know, but was never a big fan of it or anything. But a lot of innovative work there. They, you know, with stop motion animation stuff they did in it and everything. Um, so it was cool looking. But ultimately, uh, you know, I respect it, but I was not a big, you know, and it's one of those things like, well, if I had been younger at the time, maybe it would have more of an impact on me. And I think, well, that's really great. And would be all excited about a sequel. Not excited about sequels in general because they were mostly so bad, but apparently this one didn't really do anything of that nature. It was just sort of, it's all right. And usually that's kind of how that goes when you have these reunion movies and stuff like that. It's best you can hope for. That was, don't need that. All right. So now this is obviously too big. One of the things in art is when in doubt, black it out. You can cover up so much with black. Yeah, baby. Yeah. That's true. Oh, I didn't realize it was on that setting. Yeah, good enough. But see, all this kind of messed up there, and just oh boy, yeah, just and something like that. Yeah, see, it's gone. It's gone now. Just pretend it was never there. Yeah, yeah, it's gone now. I watched Aliens recently because I'm doing a revisiting Aliens or Alien, the whole franchise. Of course, really, I'm pretty much done because, as far as I'm concerned, those were the only movies worth watching in the Alien franchise. And but I'm gonna go ahead and watch all of them, but rewatch that one. And of course, uh, this was inspired by the recent Alien Romulus film, which I don't think I was all that harsh to it. I still think it's probably the best of the Alien sequels of the first two films. I mean, obviously, the best sequel is Aliens. Um, but watching both Alien and Aliens again, it's like, wow, you guys really dropped the ball. But the bigger challenge is what's the other story to tell? And I don't think they found it. So it still holds up. I mean, there's some things you notice um, how the spaceships don't quite look real here and there and that kind of thing, but I don't really care. But one of the things it did was you had this cast and you had a very quickly and very simply, you had a pretty good understanding of who they were and what they were like and all that sort of stuff. Whereas in Romulus, there's really primarily only two characters, and the main one is supposed to be the lead, but she's not nowhere near as interesting as her android brother. She calls him her brother, but he's really kind of just an android that her parents got to take care of her, which is his main, mission and all that. But he's the only really the best performance in the film and that sort of thing. But you got all these other characters, and of course, they're lined up to get killed. This is your purpose, to die, and all that stuff. But such was the case in both Alien and Aliens, and yet, I mean, in a lot of ways, Bill Paxton eats up scenes. Game over, man. Game over. And but there again, that's a pretty good crafted character there. This guy who's cracking jokes and being full of himself, and that was the case of the whole group of the Space Marines. That they're all kind of cocky and full of themselves, and they're not really taking the mission all that seriously. They've been on so many, and apparently were obviously successful. They're all still alive, and all this sort of stuff. And then they're just butchered, in the opening salvo, to where there's only three left by the end, and that sort of thing. So it's like this massive humbling thing for these characters, and it's performed credibly, and that's important. But you had some kind of attachment to them because you had an understanding of them, where they're presented to you, and well, this is the guy that's this is the lady that's that, and all that sort of thing. and then that's the necessary to engage you into the story overall. It's not just enough to, wow, they're on another planet and there's monsters. Well, yeah, that was in the title basically. Yeah. Um, but Romulus, it kind of falls flat on that. You have these characters. There's an attempt. It's something set up there. Basically, her ex-boyfriend is part of the group there, but really, you just don't get a whole lot from the other members of the cast. I mean, I guess the AI Ash, or Rook as they called him in there, played a significant role. But that was mostly kind of just a cheap gimmick. But it's unfortunate. But and the only benefit being that there was just so many bad Alien sequels that this one is just better by comparison, which is not much of a win. But it would be a win for the toe because at least I'm not as bad as the bad Alien sequel. Well, the bad Alien sequels are still better than you. I'm taking that as a win for the toe. Another guy I haven't been able to draw very well is Chad Zumock, which is very strange. I mean, he does have a look. Well, that'll be the next challenge at some point. But he's another one that just makes all these claims, and that who was he mad? Oh, he was mad at Carl from who are these podcasts, and that's too big. Undo that. And then never really landed, but acts as if he did. But that's the thing. When there's a capacity for such delusion, it would be foolish of me to expect him to ever be aware of it, because he doesn't have the ability to be aware of it. So, under certain circumstances, would feel kind of bad about it, but well, Yeah. I think we can call this one more or less done. Bloop. Oh, that's the wrong color. There. Oh, wait. Yeah, that can't be a color. It's got maybe that. There you go. Good enough. Good enough. When your goal is good enough, you'll go good enough. So there he is. Damn. Is it me? It's not me. It's them. There you go. The world of the toe. I guess that'll work. All right. Well, appreciate people who stopped by to check it out. Kevin says, thank you, Doug. See you next time. All right. Have a great night. And there we go. Steel Toe. Well, I messed up those headphones. My goodness. That boy. Best to stop looking at it and move on. Because you know what? Tomorrow's another day. And seems I won't be having too much of a problem with the storm. Of course, I say that, which probably jinxes it, and I will lose power anyway, and all that. So if that's the case, then I will not be online in the evening, because the storm is supposed to hit landfall around noon, something like that. And so I don't know if I will be available for the Pop Culture Breakdown show, or showing up for Pat's show, or showing up for my own to do yet another stream here of drawing, I don't know, something. Or not. But anyway, I do have my Wednesday comics show already done. I quickly put that together. Another little look back at the Green Goblin story. So that'll be up in the morning, which is only mere hours from now. Wow. Yeah. Boy, it's late, isn't it? Or it's so late, it's early. So there's that. So anyway, take care. And again, thanks for watching, and hopefully can do it again soon. All right.